Hi David, thanks for the footage. Sorry for the delay in getting this back across to you. Like I said, I've had a few software issues that at least we've got through now, and we can crack on with the online stuff again. So, first of all, I want to go through the key main points for your issues during the golf swing. I quite like your setup. I think based on what I'm seeing here in regards to range of motion, etc., a good habit to get into for you would be to withdraw the trail foot so that the toe end of the trail foot is more in line with the arch or the centre of the lead foot. That would put the pelvis in a slightly more rotated position at setup. That would require you to do a little bit less during the backswing. It would also make moving the hands in during the takeaway a little bit easier, and allow you to focus on some other pieces that are essential for you to progress during your golf. So moving on to the takeaway, very little hinging of the wrist. So during the takeaway, as the hands are coming in, the right arm is folding quite quickly, which is creating the upward to the swing. I would prefer to see a little bit more hinging of the wrists during the takeaway. You can see there from face on, very little movement in the wrists. Now a nice feel for you, and I appreciate that you're going to have to work these changes in sort of, bit by bit, but a nice feel for you is to increase the pressure on the butt of the club, courtesy of the pad of the lead hand, as you take the club from P1 to P2. So you feel like you're actively pushing down on the butt of the golf club as you take the club away. Now the other thing that's going to help you with is the trajectory of your lead shoulder. One of the reasons you move off and then up during the golf swing is because the lead shoulder doesn't work down correctly. Now the act of increasing pressure on the butt of the club, courtesy of the pad of the lead hand, will also affect your ability to maintain your inclination to the ground. When we get to approximately P3, just before, because there's a limited amount of loading of the lead arm available to us, and because we have insufficient hinge of the wrist, the only way really we can propel the butt of the club further is by extending. Now, that's fine, and we do want to extend as we continue into the backswing, but we also have to load the levers more effectively. If you did that, you would find that the shaft would be more here, so therefore the radius of the swing would be tighter. So if you're almost trying to create sort of almost like a 90-degree angle. I appreciate that doesn't look 90 degrees, but because I've done it on a slightly tilted angle, it tends to look a little bit narrower. You're trying to create a 90-degree angle. We take it back here now, between the lead arm and the shaft of the golf club. The extension then will propel that 90-degree angle further in the backswing. So you would now be here. Now if you add to that a little bit more change in flex to the knees. Now I've already said that you need to pull the trail foot back so that it's in line with the arch of the lead foot. That's going to create a slightly straighter trail leg, and also importantly a slightly deeper trail hip. As we extend more, we've got a side bend more. Now the side bend in the backswing comes from the lead knee changing flex. This knee has to change flex more. Now a feel that you may get to do that is feel like you increase the pressure in the front portion of the lead foot from P1 to P4. So at P1, you have a certain amount of pressure in the front portion of the lead foot. Now, this is not an exact science. This is not using pressure mats or anything like that. This is purely feels. You feel the ground under your feet. We don't need a computer to tell us how much and when, etc., etc. Not in this instance. I want you to feel like you're going to push your lead foot, the front portion of your lead foot, into the ground more from P1 to P4. What that's going to do is it's going to encourage the lead shoulder to work down. Get the right graphic up, I beg your pardon. It's going to encourage the lead shoulder to work down more. It's going to encourage the lead knee to flex towards the target line more as it works in. We don't want it just working in. We don't need it working just straight towards the target line. For us, we need to get the knee working inwards and towards the target line gradually. Now again, as you're pushing down on the butt of the club, so using some feels here, pressure points are feels that drive mechanical changes. You're going to push down on the butt of the golf club and increase the pressure in the front portion of your lead foot from P1 to P4. Now, if you did that, the pelvis would rotate more. So we go back to our sort of progression on the backswing. As the lead knee changes flex more, and the trail leg straightens more and is deeper anyway because of the setup change, the pelvis would rotate on a more tilted angle. The lead arm would be propelled even further, and as would the sweet spot of the club, courtesy of that 90-degree angle. So you're going to get more power out of the golf swing doing that. You're also going to maintain your stability, which is going to help with your strike. Now, the other thing that's going to help with your strike is because you're creating a better radius on the way back, you're not going to be as wide on the way down. So as we're coming into delivery, the butt of your golf club is way away from your trail leg. The lead arm does not work sort of aggressively enough. It doesn't keep up with your body. Your body is working forward quicker than your left arm is working away from your trail shoulder. So consequently, as you're coming into the golf ball, we're going to see the head move up and back. And we've got a golf club that's approaching the ball way too much from the inside, and it's being swung out to the right, and therefore is too shallow to the ground. Now, I appreciate that we're not going to concentrate on too much of what I've just mentioned actively during your next few practice sessions. When we do our next online session, we might touch on this and the changes that you've made. But for now, the big changes are at setup with the trail foot drawn back. During the takeaway, pushing down on the butt of the club with the pad of the lead hand, whilst pushing into the front portion of your lead foot. On the downswing, as we tilt back and raise up, the hands get projected too far out away from you and get flung off the torso, which is why we see this, as you referred to it in the video, or in the email, should I say, that chicken wing scenario. Now, if we trace the arc of the swing throughout, what we would see here is we would see your lead arm, or trail arm, should I say, down a little bit more. Same with the lead arm. And we'd see a lead bicep that's parallel with the ground upon completion. Now, we need to encourage that to happen. And the way we're going to do that is at setup, we're going to position a glove. Just set you back. I'm going to show you this from face on, but you're going to see the changes from down the line. I want you to take a golf glove and I want you to trap it between that part of your arm and your torso. So the upper bicep of the lead arm, trap a glove beneath it. And you need to feel like you're squeezing that 10 out of 10 all the way through the golf swing. When you do these changes, it's going to feel quite dramatic. So what I want to do is I want to do this lesson as a two-part lesson. You've got things to work on there, the all pressure points and the all feels. Pushing down on the butt of the club with a hand, P1 to P4, squeezing the left arm against the chest throughout the swing, feeling like the increase in the pressure between the floor and your foot on lead foot, P1 to P4. as well. What I'd like you to do is, when you get the opportunity to, do some work on that, film yourself doing it, or ask somebody to film you doing it, again, from face on and down the line, and then send it to me. Now, once you've sent me the footage, I'll do a quick comparison of it, and I'll also give you a little bit of feedback in regards to what you need to do more of, what you're doing correctly, what you're doing incorrectly, etc., as well as highlight some of the areas which will inevitably improve free of charge, so to speak, without you even trying to do anything. So you've got some good pressure points there to feel that will drive some good mechanical changes, and I look forward to watching the progress and helping you out during the next stage of this session.